Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. This is the 9th episode of Good Witch, the second to last. It is called The Search. According to the description, the pressure is on when strange things start happening to the Merrywick abilities. And it looks like that's it. And from what we saw a little bit of previews, yeah, it looks like they're kind of like out of sync and stuff with certain things. So I say, let's get started. Okay, so in the first 12 minutes, we have the three Merrywick girls. I can't say sisters because they're not. Merrywick cousins. Their powers are all out of sorts, so they're sensing and saying stuff that they wouldn't normally do because they're trying to find these amulets. Stephanie and Adam are debating what they should do about their future, and you know, as I was saying, Adam could go with her. You know, why doesn't he just say, you know what, if you do go to Paris, I'll come with you for however long it takes. You know, he can get a separate apartment or something. If it's really worth it, then if he really cares about her, then do it. You know, they can always get another preacher. They can always get, you know, like an interim preacher or something. So George obviously knows about the Merrywicks, and I'm starting to think that Sam does. You know, I always thought that maybe Sam didn't because she would always be like, hello, Sam, and he'd kind of always be surprised. But all of a sudden, especially with him bringing these people in for the amulet, maybe he doesn't know, but with them bringing in everything for bringing all the people in for the amulet, I'm like, does he know that they have powers? Because why wouldn't he question something like, why is this so important? So maybe he does know, which would make sense because he's Cassie's husband. You know, I don't know if she ever told Jake, but I always thought that that was kind of crappy that she married him and never really, like, told him. So maybe he does know, and it's just something that, you know, has never really come up. Joy, of course, is going to tell Zoe. I saw something about that in last week's previews. So we're going to have to deal with that as well. And of course we have Tom Tinsdale, who is going to have surgery and doesn't want to tell Martha. But of course he should, because as Sam said, it was nice waking up and having Cassie there with him. You know, you want your loved ones with you after a major surgery. So, all right, let's keep going. Tom! Check in.
Compassion cupcakes. Truth chocolates.
Somehow firefighter and fashionably late don't seem to go together.
What am I late for? I got it from here, Trish.
And I think Zoe just went duh with that. I don't necessarily agree with Joy telling her. I think that they should only tell their spouse, because what if she and Zoe don't last? You know, what if they break up? Then she's taking a bit of a risk, because depending on how they break up, Zoe might try to harm them somehow using their secret. So, but hey, what do I know? So it was nice to see Cassie and Sam kind of, you know, kiss and make up, technically. And obviously Stephanie's going to Paris for 6 months. Now, the last episode, I believe, is called The Wedding, which means it's going to be 6 months later. So, if Stephanie's leaving for Paris, and isn't that convenient that she had to leave the next day? If Stephanie's leaving for Paris, then technically that 6 months later will be about the time of the wedding. So hopefully she can make it for that. So yeah, I'm wondering with the final episode if that is going to be 6 months or if the wedding refers to something else. But I'm pretty sure it's called The Wedding, if I remember from what I've seen. You know, it's kind of bittersweet watching this episode knowing that there's only one episode left. Let's keep going.
One question.
Only one?
Are you a good witch or a bad witch?
Definitely a good witch. For the most part.
What does that mean?
Well, I have used it to my advantage from time to time.
So, looks like Joe and Zoe, excuse me, that they're on the mend. And Donovan's parents looks like are officially splitting up. I liked how Abigail said she was going to go talk to his mother, because last season she and the mother butted heads a lot. You know, the mother didn't want Donovan to marry her, but obviously she's come around and she likes Abigail now, and so I think that is really good, you know. So it's nice that Abigail wants to go and talk to her and you know, help her out and everything. And I'm guessing Donovan probably went to talk to his father. And, you know, I want to smack Tom for not telling Martha what the secret is. And we didn't see much of Sam in this, if at all. Did he have to go in? I don't think he did. He might be in a different room looking for something. But yeah, so we're about halfway through. I keep thinking to myself, like, you know, how are they going to wrap all this up in 2 episodes? It just seems like there's so much. And, you know, it's like this cancellation was sudden, that there was more story to tell, and they just went, nope, that's it. So
I made a choice early on to give your mother a great life. The life she wanted for our family. The irony is, working that much actually drove a wedge between us. Anymore.
Alright, so we have a few more clues, but nothing concrete yet. It's nice to see that Zoe and Joy seem to be on the right path. Obviously Sam does know. Which is kind of new. I know people have complained about, you know, the writing this season not being like it was in the past. And this has been a little more witchy, you know, more with powers and stuff as opposed to previous seasons. Not that that really bothers me. I actually kind of like it a little better because it's always been called Good Witch. So, you know, it's kind of like, well, if she's a witch, why isn't she using her powers more? Yay! Finally!
Here's the thing. I still love you, and I'm pretty sure you still...
Shut her up with another... Okay, so that was a little bit of a surprise ending. You know, one thing that I have noticed with, especially this season, is that they've had a couple of, like, cliffhanger endings. You know, generally with Good Witch, the story wraps up by the end. So I actually kind of like this. I know some people have been complaining about the writing, that it's like all over the place and disjointed. But to be honest, I haven't really noticed that much of a difference. The series finale is next week. The fans are not having this. I know that this is not going to be posted right away, and so, you know, there may be nothing we can do, but we are trying to save the show. If anyone does watch this video and you want to help, you know, get on Twitter, tweet SAVEGOODWITCH, tweet it to Hallmark, tweet it to Netflix, Prime, Hulu. Make noise. Fans have been able to save shows in the past. I'm a fan of the show Lucifer, and you know, we saved that show. My friend Kiki was one of the people who got the show saved. You know, it was basically her idea, and so we went with it, and we managed to get the show saved. You know, we made enough noise that Netflix took interest and then picked it up. Some have said Hallmark won't let it go, but they might. You know, you throw enough money at them, and they might. So maybe someone like Netflix would pick it up. Hallmark has talked about possibly doing like one more movie to kind of wrap everything up. And if they do go that route, then I hope that we'll get to see Nick and Grace again, considering that Nick hasn't been in at all this season and we just had that brief glance at Grace. I'm kind of hoping maybe they might show up tomorrow or next week, you know, but I still think that they didn't know that this was going to be the finale. I think Hallmark just dropped it on them. And so I think that they basically had plans for an 8th season, and then Hallmark said, nope, we're done. So, yeah. Again, I don't know if anyone is going to see this video. I hope you do. If you do, you know, obviously then you love Good Witch too. Please, please, please do what you can, you know. Anything that shows how much the fans love the series could be the determination of whether or not it gets renewed. Maybe it won't. You know, I'm prepared that it's not. But we are working hard. We have a group on Facebook called Say Good Witch. You know, you're welcome to join it. You know, use hashtags on every Good Witch post that you see, whether it's from Catherine Bell, whether it's in other Good Witch groups, whatever it is. Just use the hashtag Save Good Witch. The more hashtags there are, the more people will see it. Buy merchandise, buy the shows. Etsy has some merchandise. I'm actually looking at maybe buying a sweatshirt. You know, share photos. You know, share photos and use the hashtag. Do what you can to fight to save the show. Again, it's been done before. The fans make enough noise, enough of a stink, we can get it saved. Hallmark will take notice. Maybe Hallmark does want to be done with it, but maybe, you know, Netflix or Hulu or Prime will come to them and say, you know what, we'd like to talk, here's some money. And then it transfers over. And again, maybe our efforts are all for naught, but it's at least worth trying. When it's a show that you really like, it's worth trying. So, again, if anyone sees this video, please do what you can to help save Good Witch. We may not know anything for a few months if it actually does get saved. I remember with Lucifer, it took a couple of months. You know, it wasn't like the show was canceled and then 2 days later, oh, it's been picked up. You know, it takes time to go through because you have to go through negotiations and figuring out, you know, price and talk to the cast and see what, you know, new changes are going to be and whatnot. So, again, this could be completely for naught, but it doesn't hurt to try. And so that's what we are doing. We are trying to fight to save Good Witch, to at least get another film, or more preferably, an 8th season. I kind of wish that if they had gone ahead and decided to cancel this, that they would have said, you know what, instead of just having that episode be the last episode, you'll have that, and then we'll have one more movie. That, I think, could have satisfied a lot of people, because then that's how they could have wrapped everything up. It could have been something that they could have filmed here, like in July, this month, July, or in August, where they could have had Bailey Madison and Nick, I forget his name, I'm sorry, where they could have had them then actually come back to film. So, you know, it's a great show. And if you haven't watched it before season 7, I definitely recommend seasons 1 through 5 are on Netflix. I'm not sure where season 6 is. And maybe that is a reason why season 6 isn't on there. Maybe Netflix is already in negotiations with them, with something. Who knows? And so maybe that's why. Maybe they're in the process of buying season 6. They're also buying everything else. Don't know. Again, it has been done. It has been done. Fans have saved shows before. So if you can, try and help save Good Witch. Now that that's over, you know, another great episode. I'm sad about the finale next week. I think it's going to be really good, you know. If the show isn't saved, at least we got 7 seasons of it, and about 5 or 6 movies. My plan now is to start buying all of it, buying all the movies, all the seasons, again, buying some merchandise, just to be able to have it. And who's to say that it may not come back in a couple of years, maybe 5-10 years, there could be a reunion or so. So thank you so much for joining me for this react to episode 9, the second to last episode of Good Witch. I hope you enjoyed it. Leave a like if you did, please. If you want to leave a comment, if anyone's watching, let me know who your favorite character is in the show. Is it Martha? Is it George? Is it Cassie? Is it Abigail? Is it Joy? I'm just curious to know who it is. Follow me on Instagram at the same name, Lazy Cat Reactions. Got more going on there. Join me on Patreon if you can, because there's going to be other things that are going to be uploaded on Patreon. And I'm looking to branch out at a few more platforms as well. So kind of keep an eye out, you know. Patreon and Instagram are going to be the best sources of communication for you, to find out exactly what's coming down the pipeline, what I've got coming up next. You're also welcome, of course, to email me at lazycatreactions@aol.com. That, of course, is on the YouTube page, and I can try to remember to include it in the description as well. Thank you for joining me. Hashtag SAVEGOODWITCH, and I will see you next week. Bye.